Oh, Florida. It's a great state. It's an eventful state. Some might even call it a weird state. In fact, Craig Pittman has even written a book about how weird our state is. Good morning, Craig.
Good morning.
I love this book. I love this column that you do. And there is something about Florida. I've lived in other parts of the country, and when you tell people you're from Florida or that's where you live, when you travel elsewhere, they go, "Oh, Florida." It's so true. Don't you hear this a lot?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
So,
and we should embrace it. We should be proud of that fact.
I am proud of it. You know, This is where I was raised. But what is it about Florida? And tell us a little bit about what your book dives into about the interesting, weird stuff that happens here.
Well, I talk about some of the craziness that happens here. You know, the pythons battling alligators in the Everglades, and people thinking it's okay to ride around on a manatee's back. You know, one of my favorite road rage incidents where the guy accidentally ran over himself.
Oh,
but also try to put it into the context of that there are things about Florida that have influenced life in the rest of the United States, and because we're such a punchline now, a lot of people may not realize that.
Well, and it's interesting. You're an award-winning journalist. You've been born and raised here, right? And this has been probably, I'd imagine, for your career, a fascinating. Is there a better place to write stories and write articles?
By far, this is the greatest job in American journalism, covering Florida, because you never know what kind of craziness is going to come down the pike next.
Well, and talk about some examples that you discuss in your book where we really do Florida influences. There are physical changes to laws. I mean, big changes for the rest of the country because of what happens right here.
Oh, absolutely. And sometimes it's because of the weird stuff that happens here. One of my favorite examples is there was an incident in Miami Beach where two crooked police officers, they would patrol their beat in the morning, and then in the evening they'd go out and break into the businesses they were protecting, and they were communicating via walkie-talkie. A ham radio operator with insomnia one night woke up, turned on his radio, picked up their transmissions, realized what he was hearing, tape recorded it, turned it over to the police. These guys were arrested. They went to trial. They were convicted. And their attorney appealed the case all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court, not based on the facts of the case, but because there was a TV camera in the courtroom. That was an unusual thing back then. And the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that it was okay to have cameras in the courtroom, all because of two crooked cops and a ham radio operator with insomnia.
Well, and you bring up cops and I mean, there is a lot of just the crime stories that are here.
Yes.
I mean, really bizarre, and really, I think now with social media we were talking about, when something happens now and you see it on national, it spreads all over, and people assume that it's here in Florida, whether it's not. Right?
Well, and yes, absolutely, and honestly, and on the flip side is true too, which is a lot of times there's a big national story and there's always a Florida connection to it, you know, not just the 2000 election, but you know, a big scandal in Major League Baseball. Well, there was a Florida clinic that was the one that was handing out the drugs, all kinds of things like that.
But why Florida? What is it? I mean, is it the weather, that it's warmer? I mean, California has nice warm weather, beautiful beaches. They have their own stories that come out of there as well. But what is it about Florida, do you think, as your years of kind of surveying everything? Weird
stories happen everywhere there are humans, but Florida produces more weirdness than any other state, and it tends to be weirder. And I think it's a combination of factors. The weather's part of it, you know, because we're not cooped up inside 3 months of the year because of blizzards.
365 days of year to
go out and be crazy. And we've undergone this wrenching demographic change. In 1940, we were the least populated southern state, and now we are the third most populous state in the nation. So we've got 20 million people from all over the place. We've got about 100 million tourists coming in every year, and everybody's kind of crammed into this swath around the coast and along Interstate 4. So when you put that many people from that many places together, they're bound to start ramming into each other's cars, chasing each other with machetes, complaining about whose dog pooped on whose lawn, and, you know, winding up in the police log. So that's a factor. And to be kind of serious for a moment, also a factor is that Florida routinely ranks 49th in the nation for funding for mental health treatment. For which I can only say thank God for Texas.
Well, and so what do you hope people get, you know, when they read this book, when they continue to read your column? I mean, a lot of it is tongue-in-cheek. I mean, but a lot of it's factual. What do you hope, you know,
I hope people come away with a greater appreciation of the state. It's not just Disney World, that there's a lot more to us than that. And I hope people will go out and explore a little bit and enjoy what Florida has to offer. It really is a beautiful state. We've got this award-winning state park system, these gorgeous beaches, cotton candy sunsets, and just bear in mind that you're liable to find somebody, throwing starfish at each other and having a fight on the beach when you're there, because that happens too.
Yeah, but as you and I said, though, we're both proud to be from this state, and congratulations on the success of this book. I know the New York Times wrote a great article about it and said, yeah, go pick it up. And people could do that right at Amazon and
local bookstores, Barnes & Noble, they're all carrying it. Yes.
Well, such a pleasure meeting you and having you on the show this morning, and I have no doubt you'll be able to leave today and write more stuff about what's coming up.
Probably.
Who knows what's going to be in the headlines today. Thank you, Craig, so much. We appreciate it. All right.